Good evening everyone, welcome to Sociology Analytica. This is Pooja Prasanna, your Sociology faculty, and today we will tackle with a new thinker, and that is Talcott Person. See, most of you, what most students would do is, in overall there are 6 thinkers, so they'll study Weber and Karl Marx and Durkheim in detail. But when they move to Parsons and Merton and Mead, so what they tend to do is they tend to not focus too much on them. And and also they tend to feel that it's very difficult, they can't understand in many sources, so many factors would be there. And I have observed in many students that they tend to neglect this particular topic. See, let me tell you something, especially Parson and Merton, if you observe, if you study in the subsequent chapter, stratification, work and economics and religion, be it any chapter to that matter, Parsons almost keeps coming in almost every chapter. Okay, so please don't neglect Parson, because so many of you actually neglect, but please don't neglect the later 3 thinkers. Okay, I understand it's a bit difficult, but then you have a lot of good materials are there, good YouTube videos are there, you would be having your own faculties. Please consult any of them, or you can also consult me, whatever it is there, but then please don't neglect this, and please try to understand the concepts in detail and then try to remember. Okay, so coming to the question I have kept a bit simple, because what happens is when particularly this Talcott Person concepts are so difficult in general, so students won't be able to write what it is. Okay, so the first question I have tried to put it as simple as possible. So the question is, critically analyze Talcott Parson's conception of social system. Okay, it's a 10-marker question. So what is it? It is about, they are asking you to critically analyze a social system. This is again direct question, okay, because in the syllabus, so there is social system, social action, pattern variable. So this is what it is there in the syllabus. So social system is directly there. So whichever book you study, whichever videos you refer, wherever you study, so social system is some concept which is easily available. The material is easily available. Okay, so for this question, so it is critically analyzed, and I have given only for 10 marker. Okay, usually when you see critical analysis comes to 20 marker. So purposely I've put it for 10 marker. That's because, see, you have to know how to cut short the concepts also. Okay, because most of the time they simply write too many things. Okay, but then here, how to write the simplest, how to write in the simplest version in case if something is asked, is what my purpose was for this, for giving 10 marker question. So 10 marker means it's only 150 words. So what you can do is, you can simply start with the definition of what is social system. Okay, that is this particular, obviously it is given by Parson, so give a definition which is given by Parson himself. So I have written that social system refers to a pattern of actual interaction. Okay, pattern of actual interaction between units in society. It's a very simple definition. What I would suggest is keep as simple as possible. Don't make it over complicated. The more simple you keep, because it's a 10 marker question, it is critically analyzed. You don't complicate too much in the introduction para itself. Okay, and then I have gone on to talk about how the institutionalized roles are viewed as social system. That is, institutionalized roles. What are institutionalized roles? Basically, how what's the role between father and a son? Okay, what is the role of a father? What is the role of a teacher? What is the role of a student? So all these things constitute what? Social system. Okay, so this is how he studies. He studies from the institutionalization or patterns of variables, patterns of actions. This is how he studies. Okay, so I'm keeping it very simple. And further, see, as it's a 10 marker, what I'm doing, so I'm talking about the subsystem which is there in the social system. So he talks about 4 subsystems, that is economic system, political system. Economic system for what? For the adaptation of the whatever the resources efficiently. Political system for the goal attainment of the society. Then social institution for social control and integration. What are social institutions? Many social institutions are there in order to control the people. Social control means controlling people, what to do and what not to do. Okay, so when you control people, that is social, when you put sanction on them. Suppose when you tell that this is the role, this is how you have to behave, this is your student, you have to behave in so and so way. Suppose in case if you don't behave in a particular way, then there will be a social control on you. So let's say there's some form of punishment will be given, so that if one person is given punishment, all the people in the class, they'll understand that, okay, further we should not do it. So it will actually leads to what? Integration. Okay. Finally, socialization system. Socialization system, that is why socialization is required, because in order to maintain the pattern maintenance, isn't it? In order to maintain the pattern. What is pattern here? Pattern is how to lead the life. So for example, the particular role, particular value system, particular norm, it also differs from one society to the other society. Okay, and who will be the one to teach you all these things? How will you be learning all these things? Through socialization system. And you can give example of family, education, etc. And these are the social institutions which helps in what? Which helps in socialization. Why do we need socialization? To maintain the pattern. Okay. So however your parents, however your grandparents did, your parents will also be doing the same thing, and you will also be doing the same thing. So we need socialization in order to maintain the pattern. So this is a basic thing of social system. I mean, you can write this much. Okay, one or point extra. I mean, you can explain these points depending on the space. Okay, depending on how much space is left. See, also give some explanation, and just one line explanation if you go, it is sufficient. So this part, one side you have written all these things. Then what you can do, you can go for critical analysis. So now I have gone for criticism. So what you can do, again you can write some criticism, that is criticism for whom? Criticism for Talcott Parson's social system. So pick some a generalized criticism, like from how different people are criticizing. And also when you criticize, it's always best to add what? It's always best to add the critique's name. So what you can do, I have here taken few criticisms. See, different textbooks gives different criticism. In different source you may find more criticism also. Okay, so wherever you come across, it doesn't matter from where you're coming across, but just collect as many criticism as you can. Fine. So Dahrendorf, what he has criticized, that social systems has low empirical testability. He says social system has low empirical testability. Why it has low empirical testability? Because see, he gives a concept called as social system, and in order to explain this concept, he also talks about one more type of system, that is action system. So through action system, it pans out social system, and again in social system there are again subtypes. So many. It's a very complicated theory. And this is only in theory. This theory cannot be technically applied in the actual reality. So it cannot be tested. Okay. So that is why Dahrendorf is criticizing that it has a low empirical testability. Next is over socialized view of man. Over socialized view of man. See, here only we just saw, sorry, in this slide, what did we see? That so he's talking about the socialization system. See, he's talking about the socialization system. In socialization, what is he telling? That this family and education, so they will be helping you to socialize. They will be teaching you what is right and what is wrong, isn't it? So in all these, and also he's also talking about social institutions for what? Social control. So if you do something, you have to do. So for example, let me just take you an example. So in Indian society, arranged marriages are it's quite common, isn't it? Arranged marriages are quite common. Your grandparents had an arranged marriage, your parents had an arranged marriage. Now you want to go for a love marriage, which is not technically a norm of Indian society. So what Indian society will do? So your family would teach you that love marriage is bad. And then the society will go for a social control. They may outcast you. They may actually, they may not entertain you. They may punish you. Anything can happen. Okay. So what Parson is telling, Parson tends to believe that whatever society tells, man will simply agree. So this is actually one of the criticism, that he has considered man to be overly socialized. But technically it is not true, isn't it? So man will think what is best for him also, isn't it? If you feel that going for a love marriage is best for you, you will go for love marriage. If you feel going for arranged marriage is best, you will be going for that. Okay. The next criticism is given by Jonathan Turner. What Jonathan Turner is telling, that Parson suffers from illegitimate theology and tautology. What is theology and tautology? That is cause-effect. Okay, cause-effect theory, that is, when someone explains through cause-effect, so that is basically theology and teleology and tautology. But then what Jonathan Turner is actually accusing Parson is that sometimes he confuses between cause and effect. Sometimes he takes cause for an effect and effect for an cause. So what Jonathan Turner is trying to tell is that Parson himself is confused. Okay, sometimes he, to talk about social system, he talks from action system, and then again he comes back, he goes back. So if you study, if you read the whole of Parsons, you understand, he keep revolving and rotating around action system and social system. Okay, so that is why most of the students also get confused that what Parson is doing. So this is one of the criticism which is given by Jonathan Turner. Next is given by Merton. Again, Parsons is a functionalist. He only focuses on functional aspect of life. But then Merton says it's not true. We should also focus on latent functions as well as dysfunctional of the society also. Next is given by Marxist. Marxist tells that, see, some people, some people, that is the pattern maintenance. Okay. So what Parsons says that, society has given certain pattern and we will be maintaining that pattern through social control and socialization. This is what Parsons say. But then Marxists say that, see, Parson is neglecting the role of what economy or the power or the domination. Why is that people maintaining certain pattern? Why is that, lower caste are going for the menial jobs? Is it because they like going for menial jobs? Not really. They are going for doing menial job because of the position they are in the society. So there is a domination and power angle from the upper caste, which actually is pushing the lower caste to take the menial job. Understand? So people by default, they don't do certain work. They are doing because there is an aspect of power and domination. Okay, and again Jonathan Turner is giving one more point. He's telling that Parsons to a greater extent ignored the conflict angle. Okay, so he always talks about the maintenance, pattern maintenance. Okay, pattern is being maintained, but then in order to maintain this pattern, okay, some people may directly agree to that, some people may disagree. Okay, when people disagree, there will always be a conflict which will arise between the two different sections. And Parson to a greater extent has not even talked about the conflict angle in the society. Okay, so these are some of the criticism of this particular question or a social system. See, if this question is for 10 marker, you can go in this flow. So let's say the question is 15 marker or 20 marker. So should you stop here? No. What you have to do is keep the criticism part intact. Okay, criticism part you can just write this, and if you can find something else, you can write that also. But for the initial explanation part, apart from explaining this, you can actually add bit of more context also. So what you can do is you can actually talk about mechanical equilibrium phase and prerequisite functional phase also. That is, in order to understand social system, what he will be doing, he want to understand how the pattern is maintained. Okay, that is how norms and values will be transferred from to the actor, that is within the system, how norms and values are transferred from one generation to the other generation, or one person to the other person. So this is what he wanted to understand. And in order to understand this, again he'll study through two things, that is mechanism of equilibrium phase, and then that is functional prerequisite phase or requisite functional phase. Okay, so this is in this what he'll understand, how the social institutions will be maintaining the equilibrium. Okay, that is, let's say from arranged marriage it is going to love marriage. So now there is a moving equilibrium. Arranged to love, there is a moving equilibrium. And once it comes to completely society accepts love marriage, now it has come to the equilibrium. So let's say now society is again moving to living relationship. Okay, society is moving towards living relationship. Now there is a equilibrium from love marriage to even moving living relationship. So let's say that the whole of society accepts living relationship, then it will come to the normalcy, then it will come to the equilibrium. So I'm pretty sure you would have studied that. So you can add this context also, in case if the question is asked for more number. Okay, so as much space is left, based on that you can write whatever you want to write. Next also you can mention about this requisite functional phase, that is Agile phase. Okay, it is also called as Agile. So what is this Agile? So anything, whatever it is in the system, if it is present, it will have a functional prerequisite. So Agile is nothing but this only. In the subsystem, see, we talked about this, isn't it? Adaptation, goal attainment, integration, and then this is also called as latency. Okay, this is also called as, this last point is also called as latency. So this is nothing but Agile framework or functional prerequisite. This you can write in detail within few lines. So again, I'm telling you, don't put everything in one page if if the question is for lesser marks. Depending on the question, you can increase or decrease whatever the content you want to. Okay, I hope you have understood. So tomorrow, for tomorrow's question, I'll make little bit complicated. Let's see. So this is a simple question. Tomorrow I'll make a little complicated question. So try and be prepared to answer that complicated question. Okay, little, not too much, but then it's just an analytical question. Okay, so in case if you have any further doubt, you can just drop your query in the comment section. Thank you all.